Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Real Chat Daddy Show. Welcome to the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. So glad to be here with you guys on a hot, humid, and rainy Wednesday evening here in the Chicagoland area. If by any chance we happen to disappear off the air, that either means we've had a blackout, our internet has gone out, or we are too scared to be on the air from all this thunder and lightning that we're experiencing right now. Our co-host this evening is the amazing Miss K Renee of Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge. And she and I were talking backstage before the show started, and we were just saying, boy, this thunder and lightning is no joke tonight. And we just keep looking up and keep looking up. So we wanted to forewarn you all that if by any chance we just disappear all of a sudden, if either the internet, the power, or the weather has gotten so bad that we need to hit the floor. So just want to tell everybody that. All right, today is Wind Down Wednesday. Yay, Wind Down Wednesday. It is my Friday, and it is K Renee's last show before she goes on her wonderful vacation. Don't forget, we will not be back until September 6th, Monday, September 6th. All new shows. It'll be back to school time. It'll be the end of summer. So we'll have a lot to talk about. But tonight we're going to cover all the top news stories. Of course, give you the latest COVID information. And because it's Wind Down Wednesday, K Renee and I are going to talk about our favorite subject, which is relationships. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. How are you, my dear? Good evening. And what's happening, darling?
Good evening, darling. Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to our audience. Yes. Hi, Candace. Yes, thank you. And not only is Wind Down Wednesday, it is National Kiss and Makeup Day.
It is.
And you know, here's a funny thing. I gotta share this with just you, though, not no one else, but just you.
Just me, not all these people watching, not all these people listening.
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
Interestingly enough, you know, when I post my nuggets through Facebook story, I get a chance to see who views it. And there is one person that I had not seen on my Facebook page in truly a month of Sundays. And I said,
would it be thy ex? Would it be thy ex?
Oh, hell no. He know better than that now. Come on. I wouldn't be smiling. I'd be like, I would have a different facial expression. K Mason would come out and say, girl, what the hell are you talking about? No.
Right. Okay. I thought maybe it was your ex. I was like, oh, your ex is admiring you from afar or something. Okay. All right.
And here's the thing. I believe he is, but he not going to be that bold to say it. Okay. But no, it was an interesting person that I have not seen on my Facebook page in years.
Really?
And happened to view my nugget for Wednesday. I said,
really?
I wonder if he's thinking about that kiss and makeup day.
Is it a former boo thing? Can I ask that? Is it at least that?
Well, it's not a boo thing.
You tit-a-tade.
Not a tit-a-tade, but you know, let's just say we were friends and then we were lovers and all that good stuff. But yeah. But interestingly enough, he was looking at my Facebook page. I said, I wonder, did he know today is Kiss and Makeup Day?
Oh, well, I guess we'll find out after your vacation. I guess, you know what I'm saying? Right. I guess, you know, after you come back from vacation and be like, I was a married woman now. So
no, that's not going to happen, sweet.
Okay. It ain't
we talk about relationships, and see, you are the relationship guru. So, you know, God doggone well, if I come back from my vacation married, you're going to be like, what is wrong with you?
Absolutely. And you had not discussed anything with me. Right.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
No, you know,
All
I
right.
tell people I was born at night. I wasn't born last night.
Okay, very good. All right, well, very, very good. Well, today is National Kiss and Makeup Day. So, if there's anybody who is near and dear to you and you need to kiss and make up with them, you really should consider that not just today, but anytime. It's always good to mend broken fences,
It is.
men broken hearts, all that type of stuff. It's never too late to do those type of things in your life and be special to somebody else. All right, well,
Amen.
we have a lot to talk about tonight. Boy, oh
Yes,
boy,
we
oh boy.
do.
So, let me see what we got going on. Because we are a health and wellness show, I thought we would start off, of course, with the latest COVID-19 update numbers.
Yes.
Illinois Department of Public Health officials reported 4,451 new confirmed
Wow.
or probable cases of COVID-19. Unfortunately, we had 40 additional deaths related to COVID 19, and that was as of today, Wednesday. There has now been 1,499,022 total cases of COVID 19. Our death total now stands at 23,816 since the beginning of the pandemic. As of Tuesday night, 2,197 patients in Illinois are reported to be in the hospital with COVID 19. Of those, 515 patients are currently in the ICU. 240 of those patients with COVID 19 are on ventilators. So, Governor Pritzker, the governor of the state of Illinois, said heightening mitigation could include things like phases where we would go back to certain restrictions in regions, possibly even at a statewide level, as we saw earlier on in the pandemic. What this could mean, places like restaurants, bars, gyms, beauty salons, all those type of places could see limitations set yet again. And we all know that this is what was the big killing factor for most businesses last year when we were going through the pandemic, but it did help to cut down the number of cases. Today, the state of Indiana reported over 5,000 new COVID cases. They did.
Wow.
And their positivity rate in the state of Indiana is 10.9.
Oh my goodness. So
Yeah.
what are their mitigating factors? Are they do they have a state mask mandate or what's going on with Indiana?
Indiana has been buck wild for a while now. Remember, I would always joke about I go get gas over there, I
Right.
shop over there, and
Mhm.
people were walking around with no mask on, looking at you crazy because you had a mask on. But no, but their positivity rate in Indiana is 10.9. And it was the funniest thing. I was headed that way for gas today, and something said, stay right on here in the city and get the gas. It's not worth them few extra pennies to
Oh
go
my
out there.
goodness.
And this is way before I knew what their positivity rate was today.
You know, we talk about this often. Hopefully, we'll have Dr. Janet come back
Yeah,
in September
when we come
uh,
back.
when we come back. But it's really getting. We almost sound like a broken record when it comes to, telling our viewing audience, telling people, if you don't want to get the Delta variant, wear the mask whether you're vaccinated or not. And
Mm-hmm.
people just don't they truly don't believe that fat means greasy.
Mm-mm.
You
Mm-mm.
hear during the news reports, during the local and national news, they always feature some family that has had COVID, has died from COVID, and I don't know what it's going to take. I mean, I saw a news report earlier this afternoon of a bodybuilder who contracted COVID, didn't get, I think he got vaccinated, but he got COVID again, lost 70 pounds, is in a wheelchair, has to have oxygen, and he everyone who is contracted COVID is in an ICU. They implore, excuse me, get vaccinated. It's
Right.
not that hard.
Absolutely.
Excuse me.
You okay, dear? That's okay.
Hmm.
We're continuously praying for civil rights icon and pastor, Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr. and his wife, Jacqueline Jackson. As you guys all know, over the weekend, they both were diagnosed with COVID-19. They're still in
Yes.
the hospital, being treated for this situation. I sent you a message earlier,
You
and not to
did.
put anybody's business out there, but a lot of people have been saying, "Hey, Chat Daddy, what happened to the Urban Global Traveler series?" Here's the
Yes.
deal: I had the first group trip, scheduled for February of 2022. We were in
Yes.
the process of putting everything together for this trip so I could start advertising it, promoting it, all of that. Wonderful 4 day weekend for the mature adult audience. You'd have a great time, warm destination. I had it all laid out. I recently received a message from somebody of someone who traveled to a foreign country the end of July. And we're talking about a foreign country that everybody likes to go to, very popular, lots of drinks, partying, all of that. This person reported back that out of the group they went with, over 60 people have tested positive for COVID. So many have died. So many are on ventilators, and so many are at home on oxygen. And I said, you know what? I don't want that on me. It's not
Right.
that serious that I have an event and invite some people. And I'm asking a mature audience to go anyway. And I know, I'm asking people to be vaccinated, but that's not my place to check that. And so
Right.
that made me say, you know what, Art, pull back on that trip and wait a minute. Because again, when I read this text message, I was blown away. And I even forwarded it to you so
You
we could have
did.
this conversation. And again, they
Absolutely.
went on this trip the end of July.
So you
And
know,
so
ladies and
far,
gents,
six people have died from that trip.
that's less than 30 days. So
Right.
you guys
Yes.
think about that. And
Yes.
again, it this is a cautionary tale that even though people are feeling a little bit more comfortable trekking out to travel, you still have to be mindful, right? Because there are people that you don't know. You don't know if they're vaccinated. You don't know if they can pass on this virus to you, and you have to, do what the instructions of the CDC tell you.
Right.
Continue to have sanitizers with you at all times. Wash your hands regularly. Wear that damn mask. Yes,
Right.
it's not. Now it's not hard. This should be part of our daily routine. You're
Right.
going outside, wear the mask.
Yeah, that's all. Just
That's
that
all.
easy, just that simple. Again, as I was out and about doing my business today, you would see people who have no mask on. You saw other people, much like myself, who had mask on doing what we needed to do. I went into a repair shop today, and I had my mask on and all of that. The two people that waited on me, it was a female waiting on somebody and a male waiting on somebody else. He was the nicest man ever. He actually, my item, it was a matter of a bulb that wasn't working. And I'm thinking the whole fixture is blown.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just as nice, but he had not masked the first on. He did not, and I'm thinking to myself, and he says, "Oh, I do all kind of repairs, refrigerator, stoves, all that." And I'm thinking, Billy Bob, I don't know if I'm gonna have you coming in my house and I'm in your business and you don't have a mask on. So I don't know. This mask thing has everybody really torn, and that's what the problem is.
Yeah, I agree. Because, like you, I had a contractor come in my house today. He was definitely, moment he came in, I said, I had my mask on. He had his mask on. Was
Good,
able,
good.
and he was like, because I'm a contractor, I have to make sure that I'm safe. I said, well, I appreciate that very much.
Right, very good. Well, just
Yes.
so you guys know, the state of Florida has broken all of that, another record, but they've broken another record. Florida has reported 26,203 new confirmed or probable cases of COVID, and they
Say that
reported it.
again. Say that one more. Say that number one more time, and say it slow so people can hear it. Say it again.
Again, Florida, the state of Florida, the
Mm-hmm.
Santo state,
Mm-hmm.
has broken a record again.
Mm-hmm.
Today, they reported to the CDC, the US Center for Disease Control and Prevention,
Mm-hmm.
that they recorded 26,203 new cases of coronavirus in
Mm-mm.
one day.
Mm-mm.
Now,
Wow.
I'm just telling
Wow.
you, the
Wow.
state is now up to 3,130,144 cases, and they've had over 42,000 deaths since the start of this pandemic. And now, here's the biggest problem: Florida funeral homes are on a 2 to 3 week backlog to bury your relative. That's how busy and how many bodies that they have. And keep in mind, people are dying from other things, old age, cancer, whatever the case. But
Mm-hmm.
because of the high number of deaths of COVID in Florida, it is now a 2 to 3 week wait period before you're even able to have a funeral.
I simply have no words. I
Right.
don't.
Yes.
I don't.
Yes. Absolutely.
I don't know what you're. And see, I have friends. I have family that lives in Florida. I know it's none of them. So I don't know what all these cases are coming from. Because I know most of my family and friends that live in Florida,
Hey,
you don't do no
Ronald,
stuff
what's
like
happening?
that. Hey, Mr.
Right.
Ryder, how you doing? I
Right.
know that can't be the case, but that's a lot. I mean, that's a town or that's a suburb here in Chicago,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
It,
Well,
it
they
just
they're saying that the funeral situation is worse than it was during the height of the pandemic. They're saying the
wow.
backlog of funerals and deaths and not being able to bury people would mirror it back when the pandemic was at its highest point. Now,
Wow.
so let me explain this. The United States 7 day moving average of new cases is 142,029. So that means Florida is contributing 15% to that overall total. But we're in the
Mm-hmm.
United States, we're averaging 142,000 new COVID cases a day.
I'm wondering how is the rest of the world doing? I mean, we yes we live in the United States, but it just makes you wonder how what about what's going on in Europe, Africa, Asia? Um, are they having these crazy
I,
upticks? It
we
makes you wonder. Are we that
we
crazy?
We've not heard anything. I do know somebody that's leaving for Paris tonight. I know people who have traveled internationally. I don't know. I mean, I can't tell you that you know what? That's something we can do research on while we're on break to
Mm-hmm.
find out is has there been an uptick in other countries. Now, I will say this. Jamaica is now a hotbed again as well too, and
Oh, it
rumor
is.
has it that Mexico as well. But because of the tourism, they're trying to keep it hush. Because you and I have talked for the last 2 weeks about the number of Black families who have gone to Mexico and contracted COVID. Um,
Yes.
the Jamaica thing, we already know that that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know, but I think they're keeping their business so hush hush, where ours is really dominating the news right now.
Because our northern neighbors, Canada's, hey, Canadians, they not having that. They're like, okay, you
No,
have COVID,
no, right,
you stay
right.
your ass right there in the states. We not
Absolutely,
taking you.
absolutely.
They don't. Canadians don't play that. I can tell you that firsthand. So
Yes. And
we
matter
know
of
our
fact,
northern.
Canada only opened up what 3 weeks ago. So yes, they're
Okay.
being very careful. Oh, and FYI, we had somebody on the show last week who said she was on her way to Hawaii this week.
Uh
I
huh.
hope she made it because
Okay.
the governor of Hawaii is putting restrictions back on travel to Hawaii. If
I
you're
believe
not
it.
coming to Hawaii for essential business, they're asking that you please not to come to Hawaii. But I told you that. I
You
said
did.
one evening while watching the news there, those
Mm-hmm.
people said we welcomed 38,000 people to Hawaii today. And that's when I said, you know what? Ooh, we need to be getting on up out of here. Right. They welcomed 38,000 people to Hawaii in one day.
And you, Miss Ursula, Miss Tanya were one of the blessed ones to go and enjoy and have a wonderful time and come on back safe.
Come
So,
on back safe. Thank you,
mhm,
Lord, for that. Absolutely. All
amen.
right. Well, we have lots more to talk about tonight. 20 years ago today, do you know what happened 20 years ago today, K Renee?
20 years ago,
August 25th, 2001. Where were you?
2001. Well, I was still married.
Oh, boy.
That's for sure.
Oh, boy.
I was still married. Um, where was I? Actually, I was working in Hyde Park. I worked for the University of Chicago Hospitals. That I do remember. But I'm trying to think the 25th, 20 years
So,
ago.
August
Mm.
25th, 2001, tragically, we lost actress, singer, dancer, and model Aaliyah. She
Oh,
was in the Bahamas
yes.
filming a video for Rock the Boat. She was
Wow.
leaving on a private jet to come back stateside, and the jet was, I guess, overweight and it ended up crashing.
Overloaded. Yeah.
And Aaliyah ended up being killed. As you guys all know, she was known as the princess of R&B, the
Hmm.
queen of urban pop. And I'll never forget, I was in New York City with a friend and we were in the hotel room. We were at the Hyatt Grand
Hmm.
Central. And back then, I almost want to say, no, it was a phone. My phone started just blowing up, blowing up,
Hmm.
blowing up, blowing up. Did you hear about Aaliyah? Oh my God! Do you know what happened to Aaliyah? Just all kind of questions. And I was glued to the television in the hotel room, watching the coverage of the plane wreck that she had been in, and only to find out that she had died. And as you guys all know, she was born in Brooklyn, but she was raised in Detroit.
Hmm.
She first gained recognition at the age of 10
Right.
when she was on Star
Star
Search.
Search. That's right.
Yes, she was on Star Search. She performed at a concert with Gladys Knight at the age of 12, and she signed with Jive Records, and her uncle is Barry Hankerson.
Hankerson. Yep.
Uh-huh. And
Yeah,
so, yes, but
but
it was
she's also known for something else, and we talked about this certain person, the Pied Piper, as he's known to be called. And interestingly enough, about the Pied Piper, for those who don't who I'm talking about, R. Kelly,
right.
um, that she had married him, but there's been some news in about his trial that he got her pregnant.
I believe that. I
Yeah,
believe that. I believe that.
yeah.
There's nothing that I necessarily do not believe about anything that is surrounding the R. Kelly story and situation. And I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not
Right.
saying he's innocent. I'm just not surprised about anything that is, involved in that whole situation. I'm not.
And one other thing about Aaliyah, who I actually adored, because I loved Romeo Must Die. I loved Queen of the Dam. That was, to me, she did a wonderful job. A lot of people don't know she was being considered for The Matrix.
Right. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. And I
Absolutely.
think she would have done it great, even though Jada did well, because Jada, I think, was the one that Jada had her role, but I think Aaliyah would have done well had she lived. So,
Yes.
man, I can't believe
Absolutely.
it's been 20 years. Wow.
Yes. Yes. August 25th, 2001.
Wow.
I was at the Hyatt Grand Central. I'll never forget that. Yes, absolutely. Well, we've had some other passings. Can you please bring us up to date on the other passings?
Let's see. Yes. Well, first and foremost, earlier this week, Don Everly. For those who don't know, the Everly brothers, they have been
Yes,
around for a very long time, and
yes. Pretty
he's
woman,
pretty well. Wake up, little
little
Susie,
Susie,
wake
wake
up.
up. That's it. Not pretty
So
woman, but wake up, little
all I
Susie.
have to do is dream. They were the quintessential team, and they help start rock and roll, right? But
Yes,
Don Everly passed away at the age of 84. Um, he, along with his brother, even though they worked very well together, it was rumored or alleged that they just had some issues while they were together. But when
Right.
it came to creating music, there was no stopping the Everly Brothers. So it just, you know, it's one of those things, a passage in time where you have your famous rock stars. You know, for those, we may have younger members of our audience, they may not know who the Everly Brothers are, but you can Google them. And if you've heard Wake Up a Little Susie, they've been influenced by a lot of the Beatles, Rolling Stones, as a matter of fact. So they were a very influential rock group, rock duo. So
Absolutely.
prayers
Yes.
go out to the Everly family. And, you know, speaking of the Rolling Stones, drummer Charlie Walls passed away at the age of 80. And seeing recent photos of him, I was like, wow, he looks very good to be 80. But, it was reported that the Rolling Stones were going to be going out on tour, but they knew they were going to miss Charlie because he was scheduled to do a medical procedure. But, unfortunately, he passed away peacefully in his sleep in London.
Yes, he did. And I guess he had backed away from the group early on in the beginning of this pandemic. And as you and
Mm-hmm.
I both were saying, maybe he knew something, was
Yeah.
changing and going to happen and that type of thing. So that's why he stepped away. So, yes, absolutely. Our thoughts and prayers go out. Did you have another death as well, too?
I did. He was my
Look, you the
crush.
church death announcement lady. You the
I
you the
know.
lady that do all the transitions in church.
I know. That's
We love
okay.
you. We do. You the obituary lady. Thank you, obituary lady.
Well, this one I had a crush on back in the day. And for those ladies who are joining us tonight, y'all know who I'm talking about, Michael Nader. And if you don't remember his name, you do know him as Dexter of
Yes.
Dynasty. He played Alexis Carrington's husband. And then on All My Children, he also
Kieran.
played Dimitri, who was also Erica Kane's husband. So
Yes.
unfortunately, Michael died, transition of an unreported form of cancer, but he was 70, I think 74. So,
Wow.
I was just kind of sad because I was like, I had a crush on him back in the day. I always pictured myself as Alexis and just getting with Dexter. So, uh, I was just real, and I apologize. He passed away at age 76, ladies and gents.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, he's Dynasty. That was one of my favorite shows. Between Dynasty, the Colbys, Falcon Crest, even Dallas. See, this is what I grew up on, and it was nothing like being watching those type of primetime soap operas. So,
Yes, yes. We talked about this before. I only got into soap operas because of my grandmother. Then I eventually, moved on from soap operas. Then nighttime soap shows like that we watched as a family being younger. But now I can't stand to watch like the reality shows. I can't stand to watch the soap operas.
I
I
know.
guess I've become such a news and entertaining television person. I love shows, I guess, with cooking and food and fashion and, all of that kind of stuff now that my television viewing has really changed. And I'm a news junkie.
Absolutely. And speaking of fashion, guess who's coming back?
Who?
Fashion Fair.
Oh,
Fashion
I heard
Fair.
that. I
His
heard that. Fashion Fair
cosmetic line
Cosmetic.
is
Yes.
coming back. And that, it's so funny. I think I can't make the statement, but I know I did. And I know my mom did. But I'm sure every young girl's mommy or grandmommy purchased some form of Fashion Fair cosmetics.
Yes. Yes.
And it was in its heyday. They were just really popular, not just stateside but worldwide. But once Eunice Johnson, who was the creator of Fashion Fair, and not just the cosmetics, they had the fashion show. They would travel all
Absolutely.
across the
Absolutely.
country
And
with
had
beautiful.
fragrances as well
Exactly.
too. Yes.
Exactly. So now it seems like they're coming back. And so, this is something that I think for, my generation and hopefully the new generation, they can appreciate women of color, and particularly having, their own fashion line. I mean, I think Fashion Fair was the grandmother of cosmetics for women of color, because you have so many now, women, minority women who are creating fashion lines and cosmetics. You think of Rihanna, you think of Black Opal, you think of there's so many, but I think Fashion Fair was the griot, right, of women, of Black women cosmetics. So
Okay, so you're absolutely right, and let me give a little history. First of all, Fashion Fair and Flory Roberts was created for us because there was you could not go and buy makeup for us. If
right,
makeup for us was something that you either made or
right,
you know, if you really look at pictures of your great grandmother or your grandmother, depending on what age you are, they went with good natural skin. They didn't have
right.
on a lot of makeup. It was maybe a lot of our mothers who started wearing makeup, and then a lot of our
Mm-hmm.
mamas didn't wear makeup. It was our demographic and this new demographic. There was no MAC makeup for us back then. There,
Absolutely.
matter of fact, I know the first black woman to sell Fashion Fair at Marshall Field's State Street. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very good friends with her. She was a former Fashion Fair model. And
Okay.
when the cosmetic line started getting distribution in stores, Miss Johnson wanted the models to be the makeup people. And Miss
Mm.
Johnson had the women trained and put them in stores. People like Roosevelt, any of those big black name people, they all were makeup artists for Fashion Fair, things like that. And Flory Roberts came along later to be competition against Fashion Fair. So that, but no,
Interesting.
we did not have makeup for us. So y'all running around here talking about, child, I wear Chanel face powder. Chanel didn't have no face powder for you
Not
all
for
30
us.
years
You
ago.
got that
Not 30,
right.
25 years ago. Chanel did not. You would be looking like you doing kabuki theater. They did not. You did. You would look like you was doing Lancome, Estee Lauder, all of those. They did not have makeup for us. Fashion Fair was created because of our various shades, and that's why it became a global iconic brand.
Amen. Amen. But
Yes,
no, that, I mean, I think Eunice to me was the Motown of beauty. I mean, because the fact that you just said all the women had to be trained, that's similarly to how Motown trained their groups, you know? So, I mean, that's a great history lesson. And that's
right.
true. Lena Warren didn't never have to wear
Nope.
makeup because she had beautiful skin.
That's right. That's right. And okay, so I'm gonna be really honest with you all. For those of you all that know anything about Avon cosmetics and the Avon brand, Avon is really who started creating makeup for people of color. And that's because my grandmother was an Avon representative for many, many years. Just like a lot of black women sell Mary Kay now,
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother was a platinum member of selling Avon, and she was the one that would have the little samples of cream and she
Mm-hmm.
would match it to the women's skin tones. But our great grandmothers and grandmothers, they didn't wear makeup like that. They wore lipstick,
Mm-hmm.
eyeliner. That was it. They had
Yep.
natural beauty. Right.
And I think a lot of women would like to get back to that. They try to match their foundations to be natural, but sometimes they're successful. Other times, looks a whole hot mess.
Well, honey, just get you some good lighting like I got, and you just look amazing. You just look amazing. You look amazing. If I get another TV gig, I'm gonna be like, nope, y'all got to make the lighting work for me. I'm not gonna do the makeup again. I used to do my makeup for television perfectly, and people be
Mm-hmm.
like, God, your face is beat for the gods. Now, give me good lighting, and let's call it a day. How about that?
Yep.
Yes.
That's why you're chat daddy, hun.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. For those of you all that are just joining us, welcome to the Wednesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. So glad you guys are tuned in with us this Wednesday evening. It is our Friday. We will be on hiatus until Monday, September 6th. Monday, September 6th. K Renee is going on a long, well overdue vacation. And once she is back, we'll be back here to bring you guys all the latest news, COVID-19 update numbers, and some amazing guests. I'm just telling you guys now, we got some amazing guests coming up in the month of September. Yes.
My September is the. You know what I do in September?
It's Virgo season.
It's
I know
Virgo.
it's Virgo.
Not only is
So
Virgo season, it's my birth month.
when is this birthday again, ma'am?
9/22.
9/22. Boy, we're gonna
22.
have a party on that
Party.
party
Nine
for Larry Renee.
twenty-two. Yes,
Nine
yes, yes.
22. Yes. All right.
Yes.
We'll make that happen.
You know,
Well,
you talked about COVID, and I would be remiss if we didn't talk about this, but now that kids are going back to school, in person
mhm.
learning, the one thing that's been a major concern is about what is called the COVID slide. And we're not talking about the electric slide, ladies and gents.
We're not talking about
No, we're not talking about that. Not talking about that. We're talking about the COVID slide, of which students, and we talked about this week, about how students during the pandemic of remote learning have not been tuning in to get that, the reading and the writing and the arithmetic. And so now that they're coming back to in-person learning, there's been a dip in their learning skills. And so, what do you think about that? I think that it was necessary, right? Because, everyone, we wanted our children to be safe. But now that they're returning back to, we won't say normalcy because it's not normal. Because, anytime you have to wear a mask in class, that's not normal, but it's necessary. But it's happening that a lot of kids, especially kids of different ethnic backgrounds, African American, Hispanic, when it comes to learning back into in-person learning, there's some slight deficiencies, and I'm kind of concerned about that because
well,
this is
I I couldn't agree with you more on that. Kay Renee, you have to keep in mind for a lot of our students of black and brown background, it could be a lack of not having Wi-Fi in the home. It could
right.
be a lack of not having the proper electronic equipment. You and I
Mm-hmm.
both know just from us being residents in the
Exactly.
neighborhood how bad Wi-Fi was when we all were put on the stay-at-home order. I had
Right.
just said to you earlier this week on the show the number of young people that have gone AWOL from the
Right.
school system.
Exactly.
That is stagnating to me to know
I
the
know.
number when they gave that number of if I'm not mistaken, I almost thought they said 50,000 young people have just disappeared from the school system. And I almost want to say it was more than 50,000, but
Yeah.
that's a lot of young people. And we're not talking about graduates. We're not talking about people that may have moved. We're talking about young people who never did the remote learning, never did continue any type of whatever. One
Mm-hmm.
of the schools here in my community had a carnival today to kind of welcome everybody back. And it was not a whole bunch of young people there, but it makes me wonder like what happened. And here's the deal. Where is the truant officer? When you and I was in school, now I never met the truant officer or never had
Neither did
that
I.
problem. I never did. But I remember people had run-ins with the truant officer. What happened to the truant officer?
I don't know. They may be on vacation, and I don't know if there's a truant officers. They still exist now. It makes you
Right,
wonder, right?
right.
Because they had that not only
Tracy.
in grammar school, it was in high school as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. Again, we just have to. I pray for our teachers, our administrators, as kids are returning to in person learning, because they're going to have to be a little patient with these students. Because from a psychological aspect standpoint, a lot of students have probably are suffering from anxiety coming back So you dealing not only with the intellectual side of a child, you got to deal with the emotional and psychological side of a child. So
Right. You know what I think about
interesting.
Preston? You're right. CPS has
Yeah.
been a failure for decades. CPS cut that out the budget. Because look, I
Yeah.
remember again the truancy officer back,
Mm-hmm.
in my day. So
Me too.
we'll just leave that. But let me kind of say what's a funny thing that you brought up. Do you ever remember in grade school when there was that one child that only whispered or you could barely hear them, and the
Yes.
teacher was trying to get them out of the shyness,
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to talk a lot, that type of thing? Imagine you now have this over your mouth for
Mm-hmm.
7 hours a day,
Mm-hmm.
and you the little boy or little girl that goes, no, yes, no.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hear that. You cannot hear
Exactly.
that. So I can only imagine how frustrating this is for young people, you know?
Young people and, as I said, teachers and administrators. So, as everyone returns back to in-person learning, we got to keep them in prayer to make sure that they're helping these young ones get the proper education that they need.
You know what, Preston? I wonder too whatever happened to Officer Friendly. Officer
Mm,
Friendly disappeared. You never
that's
did see
right.
Officer Friendly anymore. Just right. I think by the time I got to seventh or eighth grade, there was no more Officer Friendly.
Yeah, that's just really, again, this is going to be an interesting year. A lot of kids who graduated in 2021, this past June, they're now going to college. So that will be the test as well to see how they fare outside that environment. But I really, I'm concerned about our young returning back to in-person learning and being able to properly adjust in all facets, not just, as I said, not just intellectually, but socially and psychologically, because I guarantee you there are a lot of kids and even adults, even some of the teachers probably suffer from an anxiety.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And remember when you were in grade school and the boy behind you played in your pigtails? Now he 3 feet away from you. He 3 feet away
Well,
from you.
I was
Right.
the type of little girl, you even touch my pigtails, they'd be on
Was you
the
that type? Was you that type? You put him in a headlock?
I just do, back. They're like, oh, I'm sorry. No.
I could see that in kindergarten. I can see you doing that. I can see you being her in kindergarten. I can. All right. Well, also, we want to congratulate our dear friend, the one and only Miss Ella Joyce. You know, we've had her here on the show before.
Yes.
Ella
Yes.
Joyce was a part of the wonderful cast who created the hit show Rock, which was on the
Yes.
Fox network. It
Mm-hmm.
was produced by uh, Indie HBO at the time. It starred Charles S. Dutton, Ella
Mm-hmm.
Joyce, Rocky Carroll, and Carl Gibson, who is now deceased. And actually, 30 years ago today, 30 years ago
Wow.
today, Rock premiered on Fox.
Wow.
Can you believe that? We've
You
got to
know,
have Ella back
when
on the
you,
show.
yes, it's funny when you said 20 years ago, I was thinking 2001, which is with 2001. I'm like, wait a minute. That was 20 years ago.
Right.
The time just goes by so quickly.
Yes.
You don't know where you were, what you were doing. Now you're saying 30 years ago, which was uh 20, was it 1991? Yeah, 1991. Like,
Right.
where were you then?
Right.
In 1991.
Aaliyah died 20 years
20 years
ago.
ago, right.
And Rock premiered on television 30 years ago today.
And Ella Joyce, who's a phenomenal actress, Rocky Carroll, who's on NCIS, who I adore, Charles Dutton, who's married to Debbie Morgan, another great actor. He reminds me of that Brian Dennehy, that type of role, because he's that character actor.
Right.
So it would be not, well, I don't know if they could do a reboot of Rock, but I would think that would be kind of cool.
Yes. All right. Well, with that being said, we're going to move on to the next story. K Renee, I know you're traveling very soon. And I know
Yes.
you're a lady who likes to travel in first class and in style. Well, our good friends at Lyft have announced that they have partnered with Oscar Mayer. So
Mm.
from August 25th through August 27th, if you are in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, or Atlanta, and
Hmm.
if you request a Lyft XL, quite possibly the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile could come pick you up. You'll never know until they get there. But
Oh
you
my
know, you
goodness.
order the XL, the XL is the luxury vehicle. It's a little
Yes,
bit more
yes, yes.
expensive, all of that, where you could end up being picked up by the Oscar Mayer Hot Dodger, is what they call it, a hot dogger. It is a 27-foot long hot dog on
Oh goodness.
wheels. So, can you imagine you coming out of your place with your luggage and here this big old weenie is outside to pick you up? How would you feel about that?
Well, let me just say this, and I'm keeping it real. If a hot Dodger comes around my house doing that, I don't know. They'll be doing. They may do a quick hot dodging out because you can imagine because they're kids around my neighborhood. They would just be like in shock. Then they would go get the parents. Parents like what the hell's going on? It would just be such a a, a, a shock to see. But I would be kind of mad because I'm like, well, where will I put my luggage? Where are you
Well,
going to have me sit?
it's roomy. It's roomy. I've talked for many years. This is one of my favorite stories. They actually have been looking for people to be drivers of the Wiener, and the Wiener actually is big. It's almost like a Winnebago, but it's shaped like a wiener. So your luggage would
Okay.
get in the Wiener. Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd be
Okay.
able to put your luggage in the big wiener. They would have to because they don't know if you're at a grocery store. They don't, I mean, once they put you in the wiener, they'd have to put all your belongings in the wiener.
Okay.
Yes,
I have something to say about that, but I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm, gonna,
ma'am,
I'm
ma'am.
not gonna say
Can I
anything
order
about
you a
it.
big wiener for this weekend? Can I? Right, I'll order you a big wiener for this weekend. I have the big wiener come pick you up.
That
Yes, a big
you do
old wiener to
you
take you to the airport. How
you
about
do
that?
you do remember what the title of my book, right? So I guess it
Yes.
may be.
Yes, I do, ma'am. I do. I do. All right. Very good. All right. Well, what else you got in the news before we go into
Speaking
our relationship conversation?
Wait, speaking of wieners,
I know. I know.
you know
Oh, what
you
a
know we got
segue. What a
what a
segue.
segue.
What a segue.
Speaking of wieners, unfortunately, a certain individual that maybe are anyone under 21 that's viewing this right now, we would ask you probably step away for a second. But anyone over 21 may know who I'm talking about. This gentleman, Mr. Ron Jeremy. Now, if you don't remember who he is or don't know the name, if you have happened to partake of the adult film persuasion, he is a very well known adult film star. Well, apparently, Mr. Jeremy has been a very naughty, and I mean very naughty boy. That he
Hmm.
has been indicted on, unfortunately, 30 sexual assault counts, including 21 victims, and these victims have been some are underage. So this is not good. I mean,
No.
again, I
No.
know who Ron Jeremy is. I'm sure my
Right.
big brother also knows who Ron Jeremy is, and
Absolutely.
he is 67, if you could believe it. He's 70 years, almost 70 years old,
I had the
and he
pleasure of meeting Ron Jeremy probably about 10 years ago at the adult porn expo.
okay.
And really, when I met him, he was a very nice and humble guy, but I'm not surprised about any of these allegations against him right now.
Well, apparently he was born Ron. His true name is Ron Jeremy Hyatt.
Uh
He
huh.
pled guilty. He pled not guilty, excuse me, Wednesday to 12 counts of forcible rape, 7 counts of forcible oral capitulation, 6 counts of sexual battery by restraint, 4 counts of sexual penetration by a foreign object, 2 counts of sexual penetration on an unconscious or asleep person, and 1 count each of lewd act upon a child under the age of 14 or 15, sodomy by use of force and assault with the intent to commit rape. Now, I want to be serious for a second here. These are serious charges. And as I shared in my podcast earlier this year, I know what it means to be raped because I was. This is not good. So I'm going to tell all of y'all, I don't care if you're in the industry, what no means is no. And if he is convicted of this, he will probably have his own show in a different building. And I
Right.
pray that this is
Right.
alleged, but these are serious.
Yes. Yes.
Very serious.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And when you were reading the list, and only because of who I am and how I phrase things, everything that you were saying up until the children thing, I'm thinking people do these things all the time. People do these things all the time. This is a normal part of sex and hanging out and dealing with people. But once you said the children thing, that took it to a whole different dynamic. And so Ron Jeremy has been very famous for his endowment, for him to actually be a Caucasian guy, and if I'm not even mistaken, a Jewish guy, and he's well endowed like that. I'm sure it has gone to his head. It's an ego thing, and it's an unfortunate situation. So yeah, he probably will never see the light of day again.
Nope. And again, he'll be performing for a different audience if he's convicted.
Right, right.
So,
Well,
I pray for especially those individuals if this is true about the young persons or persons that he violated, because that's what it is. It's a violation.
very good.
So
Okay. All right. All
so
righty
let's
then.
talk about we talked about COVID, and there's a certain Chicago born rapper. I'll let you tell that story.
So tomorrow night at Soldiers Field here in Chicago, where our Chicago Bears play, as well as where we have major concerts, it's an outdoor space. Chicago's very own rapper, billionaire, Mr. Kanye West will return home tomorrow night to do a listening party for his long overdue anticipated album Donda, which is named after his late mother, Donda West, who was a professor at Chicago State University, educator who was loved and respected by many people. As we all know, Miss Donda West died after having cosmetic surgery some years ago. Uh, Kanye has actually had a replica of his childhood home built at the Soldiers Field for tomorrow night's show. I still don't know how much tickets are. I did see a catering menu that was just ridiculous. Girl, when I saw the
Off
chicken
the
tenders was
chain.
$50.
I
And
said,
somebody said, well, that feeds several people. Well, honey, it better
not
be
for no
enough.
$50.
Girl, it better be enough damn chicken tenders that my Ziploc bags in my pocket, I'm gonna be able to go home with them full. Because I cannot believe chicken tenders was $50 on that menu. Well, long
Okay.
story short, he is having his concert tomorrow evening. It is being reported that you do not have to be vaccinated, nor do you have to show proof of being vaccinated, nor do you have to take a COVID test to attend. And they are going to limit the number of people that would be able to attend tomorrow night to 38,000. But you do have to wear a mask at the concession stands, in the public hallways, the restrooms, places like that. But you do not have to be COVID tested. You do not have to prove your vaccine status, any of that. Who in the hell would take that risk like that?
My thing is this, and I'm I'm surprised, but maybe I'm not surprised. Yes, Preston, he does. See, I said it before and I say it again. Once his mother, the beloved Dr. Donda West,
Absolutely.
made her transition, something snapped within Kanye. I truly
Right.
believe that. And see, he is opening the door for some serious liability. Unless you have your
Mm-hmm.
potential guest sign a waiver that says, in the event that I contract COVID because I attended this listening party. I mean, I'm surprised his team has not pulled his little narrow butt to the side and said, "Look, dude, you want to keep your billions? How about that?"
And the funniest thing is the black vendors that I know that he's using, they just as happy and giddy, and they looking at the billionaire aspect, and they looking at they have to feed their families. And I get all of that. I really
I do
do.
too.
But
But
I
at
also,
what cost?
right, I'm also
At,
looking at the uptick of COVID cases. I'm also looking at the hospitalization rate. I still believe Lala should not have happened. I'm so glad that Chicago has made the money that they've made. But, Pearl's Place and Amber Inn Hotel both got closed down after Lala was over.
no.
They claim it was a building structure issue, but I guarantee you, somebody who ended up paying that $225 a night to stay at Amber Inn probably dropped a dime on them.
Oh wow. So at the there's a question: is it worth it?
Right,
Is it
right,
worth it?
right.
So that's
That's
the thing I question Kanye. I applaud him for probably will download a few of the the singles from his album, but at what cost? You've got to, when you're a celebrity, you got to really think ahead. It's not just really about the money, especially now we're living in different times. And you have to be a good, not only he is an artist, he's a business,
right.
right? He has a company, he has an LLC. You must be a good corporate citizen. And that's not, I'm telling you, if something goes down tomorrow and if there are an uptick in cases because of that, people are going to look at Kanye a little bit differently. And it's
Oh,
not going to be
absolutely.
good.
Absolutely. I agree
And it,
with you 100%.
and it's only going to be so much where you can say, well, Kanye has issues. Well, guess what? You got money to take care of those issues. You have money to have someone counsel you and say, listen, Kanye, this may not be the best thing to do. But you
So
cannot
Preston,
have. I'm sorry, go
Preston
ahead.
says city ordinances should supersede this event. Mask mandates should be enforced. Okay, so now Soldiers Field did say bathroom, concessions, public hallways, entryways, any of that, you are required to wear a mask. Soldiers Field said that. Kanye said, you can come just as you are to my concert
And
tomorrow
I
night.
guarantee you, Kanye gave a little something to let it be known whatever Kanye says, Kanye's gonna get.
Oh,
So I'm gonna
absolutely.
say this again. Someone needed to speak with him on the legal side and say, you may have some liability. I pray that does not happen. I want his listening party to be a really good success. But
Right.
you got to think at what cost. You have to make sure now, as a former event planner, you've got to have those protocols in place. And if
Yes.
you don't,
Yes.
there could be some serious liability. So,
Yep. Yep. I've been noticing that a lot of the events that have been taking place in our city, people who have been moving forward with events, especially some of these big name events, you
mm-hmm,
see very little on social media about these events. You might see one or two people, oh, hey, I'm at so and so, hey, I'm at so and so, but you don't see the energy, you don't see the crowd, the numbers, you don't see any of that as you would, in other times where everybody's broadcasting, promoting.
mm-hmm,
I'm here at so and so, so and so. So it,
mm-hmm.
it really does make me wonder how it works. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm sure we will be reporting this. This is true, Preston. I'm
Oh,
sure
absolutely.
we'll be reporting this when we return back.
Oh,
Saying,
absolutely. By the time we
yeah.
come back September 6th, baby, we'll know who all got COVID from that situation. All right.
Yes.
Well, real quick before we go, it is Wind Down Wednesday. We're so
Yes, it
glad that you
is.
guys are joining us tonight. It
Yes.
is Relationship Wednesday, and I'm going to share just some simple, easy things that you can do to make sure your relationships continue to grow. Whether you're in a new relationship, an existing relationship, or you just, you want to love yourself more. But it's all about communication. That's how it all works. So, the first thing that I want to talk to everyone about is lifelong learning. You're never too old to learn something. I told you guys the other day that my 86-year-old aunt, the cell phone thing never did work well with her. I tried to do this with her with the cell phone, that did not work. Pandemic came along, she was going to be missing church. Who learned how to use an iPad? Who learned how to find their church on an iPad, on a tablet? The 86-year-old. So that's why I tell you guys, growing is good, learning is good. If you are a couple or an individual, find something this fall that would be your passion and your purpose of what you want to learn. If you are a couple, find something that you two would want to do together to learn. So maybe you two might want to take an Italian cooking class. You might want to take a Cantonese cooking class. You may want to take a wine tasting seminar. Whatever it is, whether an individual or a couple, find something that you can learn this coming fall season. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. And thank you for those nuggets, because I'm gonna definitely take advantage of that, big brother.
Okay. Now, whether you're an individual or a couple, at least one night a week should be designed as date night.
Amen.
Whether you date yourself or you're dating somebody else, figure out what is it that you want to do on this date night. Let's say you might want to go salsa dancing and you don't, you've not been to Humble Park in years. What's the best salsa club? How do I get to this salsa club? Is it safe and easy for me to get there? Guess what? I'm going salsa dancing one night a week. And that
All
goes
right.
along with learning something. So you
Mm-hmm.
need to remind yourself of that. Date night is important. Whether you're single or a couple, you need at least one night a week where you just do wonderful things. I treated myself to a wonderful meal. I treated myself to a manicure, pedicure, whatever the case may be. And if you're a couple, figure out what you guys need to do to make that happen. All right. So Preston just said, let me put his comment up here. He said, "Where can you meet people to date? I've been dating myself for for over a year." I get it. I look, Preston. We're gonna have to talk about that when we come back from vacation because that's what a lot of people are asking. People are very rusty when it comes to dating now.
Not only that, they're still kind of skeptical, because I'm one of those individuals. Very
I know you are.
skeptical.
I know
Yeah.
you are. I'm
So
gonna let go. I'm gonna
I'll
let
date
go and
myself
let
for a
God.
long. I do that too, but and I date myself frequently, but I'm just a little bit skeptical.
Okay. All right. All right. Another thing that you guys need to do is learn to take care of yourself physically and mentally. Now, that's just not the date night, but
Right.
physically, what do you need to do to turn your situation around? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to stop smoking? Do you want to increase your workout level? Whatever it is, you need to do that for yourself, physically and mentally. Your emotional space. Where are you at right now emotionally? And are
Mm-hmm.
you able to give you yourself the most optimal best in your situation? Same way, if you are a couple, you need to figure that out as well too. All right. And keep in mind that romance never goes out of fashion.
Amen to that.
It never goes out of fashion.
It
So
does
those are my
not.
5 little tips tonight.
Well, thank you, Chat Daddy. I'm definitely going to take advantage of that. all
You're
of it, because
welcome, darling.
fall means harvest time, and
Harvest season.
harvest
Harvest
season.
season.
What do you plan
Matter
to
of fact,
harvest?
when your birthday, that's ripe harvest time.
That's right.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
right.
Preston says great advice. Mentally, I'm stalled. Are you really, Preston?
Oh,
What do you need to do to get unstuck, unstalled?
right.
What is it? You've got to figure out what it is. A lot of times, ego keeps us where we are. A lot of times, stubbornness keeps us stagnated. So you just got to figure out where you are and how you want to move the pendulum.
And you know what? Ego is an acronym. It stands for edging God out. So, oh, so when you have an ego, think about that.
Preston said he want COVID to go away. I
I
agree.
know.
I agree. I got a
I
lot of
think
COVID
all of us
anxiety
do.
too. I got COVID anxiety. I got COVID anxiety bad. So
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
I think so too. All of us do. And you got to find ways to just kind of push through.
Okay. All right. Well, K Renee, it's time for that fabulous, wonderful, delicious nugget. Let's
And
talk about it.
I got a good one. Today is Wise Words Wednesday. In addition to wine woke or wine
Wind down
wine down.
Wednesday.
Thank you, Chat Daddy.
Wind down Wednesday.
But it's also Wise Words Wednesday. So here's the nugget. You can either see a failed attempt as effort lost or as experienced gain. Perspective is everything. And again, this is Wise Words Wednesday. Hashtag gain better perspective.
Yay! For more information, you can visit KarensNuggetsOfKnowledge.com. That's KarensNuggetsOfKnowledge.com, where you can get all the information about her. We love and appreciate her. And thank you so much, Karen. May you have a wonderful, wonderful vacation.
Thank you.
I would say no skinny dipping, but that's your business. As Tabitha Brown would say, that's your business.
Well, let me just say this. You know your little sister, and whatever I do, no one will ever know about it unless I say so. So I this is
Okay.
for me. This is going to be just to relax, to relate, to replenish, but also to give thanks
Oh,
because
and that's
this is
beautiful.
yeah
That's beautiful.
this has been a very interesting, challenging year for me. I'm sure that all of us, right? So I'm just grateful that I will be able to kind of step away for a few days.
Yes. Well, we're happy for you. We wish you the best. If you need anything, you know how to reach me.
I
And,
do.
it does what it needs to do,
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know your little sister. Uh, I'm gonna make sure I'm always the lady that I am.
Right, right. That's what you
just
have to be.
we just gonna make sure that nobody, no crazy son of a gun, gonna try to pull my mask. Cause then
Right, right.
I may have to
It'll be
then I
a
may have to
tussle.
call you from someone said, sweetie, you like, baby, what happened? I tell you what happened. You're like, oh Lord. So
Right. I
we
punched
don't
him.
want that.
Right. I punched him. I knocked him out. I put him in a headlock.
Sure did.
I put him in a headlock. Yeah, I know. If you said put him in a headlock, I already know to get bail money. I
That's
already
right.
know.
Get that bail, boy.
I already know. I'm well informed. This would not be the first time I've gotten that phone call like that.
Oh
So yeah,
no. Oh no. Don't say that.
yeah.
Really?
No, no, no.
Oh,
At my age, I've gotten pretty much every kind of phone call you can get from a
oh
friend.
my
I've
goodness.
gotten pretty
Well,
much every kind of phone call.
I will be on my best behavior, but as I said, I mean that story that we shared about the parent snatching the mask off a teacher. I was like, see, only you can't make this stuff up, right?
Right.
You cannot make this stuff up. So
Um, we love you, Debbie Green. We'll be back on the 6th. You can always go
yeah,
watch encore shows on YouTube, Facebook, but we'll be
that's
back
right.
September 6th. I'm telling you, some great guests, great guests coming up September 6th. As I said before, you guys, I had a trip planned for the Urban Global Traveler Series. We were going to do a 4-day getaway to Miami South Beach, but because of the uptick of the COVID numbers and what's going on right now, I just feel it's best not to plan a trip and ask people for their money and all that. So, we will just hold off on the Urban Global Traveler series. I'm not even interested in me going to do individual trips right now until this situation gets a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, and safety first, and we are a health and wellness show, and so you know when I go, this will be one of my.
That's right. We remind everybody to please wear your mask. Spread love, not germs.
Mm-hmm.
Spread love, not germs. This is how we do it on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Spread love, stay safe, do what's necessary. Wear your damn mask. Wear
That's
your
right.
mask.
Cause
We love you guys.
I'm gonna have to start saying again, mask in a casket. I
Right.
had stopped saying it for a while, but it seems like I may have to bring that phrase again.
Yep. Oh, Debbie Green says South Beach is wild. Oh, I know
I
it
bet
is.
it is.
But we were going to go in February. I had a wonderful weekend planned for us. It was going to be really great. We actually were going to take a cruise down to the Bahamas for a day and everything. But no, I'm not going to have that liability on me. We'll wait. Because again, I know somebody that went away at the end of July and several people have died. Quite a few people have tested positive and are very sick from a trip that was the end of July. So, nope, I'm not taking that risk. All right. Well, we love you guys so very much. On behalf of K Renee of Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge and yours truly, our chat daddy Sims. For more information about me, please visit my website, therealchatdaddy.com, therealchatdaddy.com. We love you guys. We'll see you on Monday, September 6th. September 6th. Yeah, back to school, baby. That normally would be back to school, wouldn't it? That would be the original.
That's Labor Day. That's a holiday. So we'll be coming in on the holiday.
Yes, absolutely. So, yep, very good. Thank you, Preston. We appreciate you so much.
Preston.
We love you guys. Have a beautiful night. Thanks for joining us. Be safe. God bless. And we will see you guys. Wait a minute. What Debbie say? Waiting for them to turn out of the stolen. Right. That's what everybody's saying, that once they run out of all this damn PPP money, all this shit. Did I cuss? Yeah, all this stuff will slow down. I'm sorry, y'all. Right. That's a whole. Debbie, I hate. Girl, that's right. You shouldn't have got me going there. All right, we'll leave that alone. We love you guys. We do. Did I just cuss? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's the wine. It's the wine down Wednesday.
It's the wine.
Right. We love y'all because I was telling the truth. That's why I cussed.
That's right.
Right. I was telling the truth. Right. Wait. See, somebody put a message up here. Right. Debbie crying. Right. I cussed because I was telling the truth. You know, when you have to tell the truth, you cuss.
That's right.
That's what you do.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
I love you guys. Have a beautiful night. We'll see you later.
Yes.
God bless. Stay safe.
Bye.
Where you going? Bye. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the